Okay, it now being 2 o'clock, I will call the May 1st, 2025 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded for cablecast and YouTube presentation by Area 58 Community Access Media. The video of this meeting is not to be considered an official public record. The approved minutes of the meeting will serve as the official record of the proceedings. So our first agenda item is a Highway Department update from our Highway Superintendent, Rob Furlop. Rob, you're on.
All right. So I made some, no handout-y things to make it easier to follow along, because
Thank you.
mumble and so forth.
Oh, thank you, Will.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so guess I'm going over Chapter 90, how it works, and all the fun stuff. So Chapter 90 is a state-run program that grants towns funds for road projects, and to a certain extent, equipment. We have Sean Sullivan as our District 5 State Aid Coordinator. That's who I speak to whenever we have to do anything with Chapter 90. Last year, this program enabled us to pave 2 roads, West Street and Parsonage Road, as well as putting thermoplastic lining on these roads, which we were unable to finish last year due to the weather and the breaking down of our current street sweeper, which was a donation from T.L. Edwards over 10 years ago. I actually got a phone call from them today. They're going to try and get out and get it a little hand firmware on the lines. They're going to try and finish those tomorrow. So, if it goes right, this will be done. This year, the program is going to enable us to purchase a new street sweeper where the donated one can no longer be repaired due to its age and unavailability of parts. The sweeper as it sits right now currently will not pick up the brooms, and it has no brakes. We ran it last year with no brakes because we had no choice. We cannot get parts for it. It is not safe to operate, and it's past its prime. I mean, it's a 30-year-old piece of equipment at this
I can
point.
remember when you got it.
Yeah, when we got it, it drove, that was it, it didn't sweep, and
Yeah.
we took the whole thing apart and rebuilt it, but you can't, unfortunately, you can't get parts for it anymore, so there's no more nursing it along to use. The process is to submit a request with estimates and explanations of each job or purchase wanted. Then it's approved, revised, or denied. We've yet to have a project denied. So online through Grant Central, you take like your estimate, you have your paving contractor come out and they write an estimate, submit the estimate looking for the request, you get the approval, you move forward. When you're done, you submit a bill and they reimburse us. Chapter 90 is a reimbursable program. The funds may be accumulated year to year in order to do projects over the yearly amount allotted, which varies from year to year. This year, we've accumulated funds up to $362,314, which will enable us to purchase the well-needed street sweeper without going to town meeting to need to appropriate the funds.
What's that gonna leave you for doing roads?
So we have 360. We're gonna get another 160,000 this year. I think it's 100. They told you 166 or 63.
I thought it was 167, maybe.
Okay, in that
Yeah,
area.
it's usually around 160 a year
Yeah.
that the state gives us. It varies a small amount every year. We have 362, 314 in the Chapter 90 account right now, or whatever you want to call it.
So that put you over, how much is a sweeper?
The sweeper, we just finally get back the final price. The quote we were quoted was $331,130. That was based on the upcoming prices, but because we didn't need to finance it, which I thought we were gonna have to finance, and turned out we don't have to. And the fact we were able to close it this month before next month's price increase, it's $308,050. So it's a $23,080 difference, which is good for us. I mean, that's a good chunk of change. That's me having somebody come in and replace a whole catch basin if need be, or it's a substantial amount. Last year, rural roads apportionment gave us $111,316. Chapter 90 from the state aid was $166,890, and then we got $99,838 from the fair share, which I believe was federal.
So do you expect those to repeat, or?
No, those are generally like, they give
One
it to you
time.
once and that's it. But we should be getting somewhere 167,000
Yeah.
this year. With purchasing the sweeper, with the new price, we have 362, it's 308, we're gonna have 50,000 or so left in chapter 90 rolling over.
Plus 160
Plus
coming in.
160, and then
So 210
200,
roughly.
hopefully 200,000,
Yeah.
because it's,
From
Whoa, whoa.
capital at town
yeah.
meeting.
Maple Street's on the slate this year, it is the worst road in town, and the
Yeah.
price was like 370,000.
You gonna be able to do it?
I think I'll be able to swing that, even if we can't afford it, which I really hope we can, because there's more patch than actual
Yeah.
asphalt on Maple Street.
We just-
Including that frost heave every year that you hit the
That'll come back
ceiling
every
on?
year. That has to do with the height of the culvert to the roadbed.
Yeah.
The small amount of dirt that's above it doesn't get to freeze and expand the way the rest of the road does. So the whole roadbed that you're seeing is, when it lifts up, the culvert's staying the same height, but the road is actually raising up.
It's
That-
brutal.
Yeah, that unfortunately will,
Be there.
yeah, we don't have the money to have somebody come in, grind out that section of road. It's an old corduroy road, like that piece on Main Street, so have somebody come in, remove all that,
Sure.
fill it, put in geotextiles and everything, you're probably talking close to $1 million just for that
Yeah.
swamp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, got it.
If you don't have the money, would you split the road and, do half and then?
I prefer not to, for the simple fact you don't get as good of bonding. If you were to do like the level and shim one year, when you go to do the top, sometimes you don't get as much bonding. We did run into this with Winnetoxet, where we had to wait because we wound up having to change a culvert, which we'll be working on relatively soon. We did the level and shim, and then we're gonna do the top afterwards.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Speaking of Winnetoxet, how are we doing over there?
The bridge?
Yeah.
You're doing good. I don't know if you've been down there at all. They think I don't want to jinx it, but they might be slightly ahead of schedule, which usually when they're ahead of schedule, they still wind up behind.
What's the schedule?
But end of July, they're thinking, early August, to have the road opened back up instead of August, September. If everything continues on the path, but I don't want to jinx it.
Sure.
I don't want to say it too soon, because if it winds up being October, it looks bad when you say July.
Did you say that did you tell me at one point that the sweeper was coming from somebody on like the state bid list?
Yes.
Like we didn't have to worry about
No,
that,
it's
right?
coming, he's on Sourcewell.
Okay.
Which we use through the school.
Okay, so you'll get the paperwork.
Yeah.
I would just get
We
that
have our
and
Sourcewell number and stuff from them. I can
Perfect.
get any more paperwork you might need from them.
Lisa may actually need a copy because our auditor has been asking her for some like bigger stuff, just in case he ends up looking at the chapter 90 stuff like
Yeah.
in a future year.
Let me write that down. Just because I know anything.
If you just want to email it to she and I.
Yeah. You just want the contract number?
Just the contract number that, saying that it's coming from somebody on there.
Okay. Yeah, it's right on the quote that they send over, so I have.
Yeah, if you can send that too, that's great.
Yeah, actually, Lisa,
She may already have it.
I already have it because I gave her the invoice for it today.
Perfect,
I'll have
okay.
to double check with her. We gave her the W-9 and the invoice.
Okay,
This last page is just like our printout that we get from the state for chapter 90.
Yep.
It does is what's been allotted to us, the final, what we spent, the finalized projects, and open projects, which is the line painting for thermoplastic, actually, as they call it, line painting, the same thing. Plastic is better than line, or better than paint.
Yep.
If you put thermoplastic on, you're generally guaranteed 5 years. If you do paint, it's every year. So you put it on, and 3 years down the road, you touch it up with paint.
A little more expensive, but it pays off. Huh?
Yeah, long term it pays off.
Yeah.
Because when it fades out, it only fades out in certain spots, and when you come in and re-top it with like line paint, everything looks real good again, and it doesn't take as much to go as far. Circle the bond is the uncommitted balance. This is what we have in state aid. And then it tells you expenditures to date, and then unexpended contract balance, which means we have 370, but if you minus the 9501, it gives you the 361, which is what's actually in there once we finish the line painting. Any questions?
Anything else going on in your little world? Is there?
Still waiting for my truck to come in, which will hopefully be soon.
Yep.
No, but started mowing, we got all the equipment changed over to summertime equipment, all the winter stuff is put away, hopefully we don't need it.
Okay.
Um,
I see you started the cemetery mowing.
Yep, they're out there again today, doing it, the D section was growing pretty good, the back section, the new, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
was growing pretty good. That, reminds me of that. The engineering is pretty much done for the expansion part. I will be meeting Monday or Thursday of next week with Tim Bennett from Grady Consulting to go over it. Still gonna work on that. He's got a few pictures for like the aerial part of the cemetery. I'll try to take them and run them over to you, see if you have a preference on what you might want for the Historical Society to have like a picture map or whatever.
Should share them with all of us, I mean.
Yeah, I can attach them in an email with everybody if you'd like, whatever
You're running
works.
by town properties, historical.
Yeah, that way
Anybody else
there
who
we
wants to
can
take
get an
a look.
idea and go from there. So that's pretty much finalized. I'll be meeting with him, and then I think we can start working towards tree clearing and groundwork, finally. 5 years later.
We, tree warden took down 17 trees by the
Yes, he did.
Historical Society.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
So it looks good. Those were some pretty
Yeah.
rotted trees.
I think we may want to talk about some sort of fencing between the neighbor's property and ours, the Historical Society, but we can save that for another agenda item. It's kind of a beat up there right now, it looks beat up,
Yeah,
you've got all the stumps.
A lot of
now.
equipment and stuff in there too. I don't know what they're doing as far as stumps go or anything on that. That was Bill's project.
Yeah,
I think he was mostly worried about getting the trees down before they fell on anyone's house or the historical
the
society.
Historical
'Cause they were-
Society, yeah,
There was a couple of them that you could see through.
yeah. One had been hit by lightning,
The big pine, yeah, that one had been dropping leaders off for a little while now.
yeah. Question?
Any questions or anything? I feel like I'm probably missing something, but,
We know where to find you.
yeah.
Staff, you're staffed up, right?
Yeah,
So you're all
everything's
set?
good as far as my staffing goes, everything's going good. It's the end of the year, so everybody's trying to use up vacation time before July.
Yeah. How about the transfer station, anything?
Everything's going good. We put in surveillance cameras through a grant that we got, so there's now video cameras down there. We're working towards either getting a shed or a Connex box to put the tires in. It will give us another point or two on our granting, which means more money back for us.
Are there signs about the surveillance camera?
No.
I mean, I wonder if that's a consideration as
Should
a
be.
further deterrent. Like, if you're going to be a jerk, we're going to have you on film.
One of them's mounted on like a telephone pole up high. I mean, do you want us, we can put a gate, sign at the gate, you're entering a video surveyed facility or something like that if you want.
It should be a minimal cost, I would think, for you, so I think it would definitely be, I agree with Mark
Yeah,
on
there's,
that.
I think there's 4 cameras.
I would put something that says like this is under surveillance
Yeah.
24/7 or something like
And
that.
on the main gate as you pull in.
Yeah.
Maybe a sign as you pull up, so as you're pulling up to where you do the dumping and everything else, on that corner there, maybe just a post and a sign,
With
just
the,
a 4x4 post,
The
as you drive in.
mainstream packers
So
are?
that way, if you miss it at the gate there,
Yeah,
excuse me, then you can actually see it when you pull in.
okay.
Because that's where you can see it.
Before
Yeah, right before you
paper
actually
cardboard
go
and
up to
stuff.
paper, cardboard,
Okay,
everything
okay,
else
I was
recycling.
over at the other ones.
Yeah,
no,
no, I think that'd be
talking about
better,
that signboard.
because that way they know, and
You write that
it's just
down.
something that's,
I don't want to forget that.
legally, we don't want to have an issue with it because it's being surveilled, so.
Yeah, no, I didn't even, that, to be honest with you. Right.
One other thing was the buzzers we talked about a while ago. If you could,
Buses?
putting a buzzer by the.
Oh, buzzers, yeah. We still haven't gotten that far yet. I'm hoping to maybe be able to do something through a grant. I don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
Either a grant or some of the grant money.
Okay, I'd like to just see how much it's gonna cost to do something like that. I think it would help with seniors and disabled.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Good.
Actually, I'll write that down because I know we've talked about this.
I'm good.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. That was a good update.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Keep up the good work.
thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is waste removal services, town parks and sports field. You might want to stay for this, Rob.
Yeah.
So we got some pricing.
Yeah.
Liz, you wanna?
Yes, so it looks like for them to do a one-time cleaning at, this was from Ghost Scoopers, for them to do a one-time cleaning of Holt Field and Harry Jason would be $200 apiece. I think that that's worthwhile, given the complaints that we've received. And then as far as the waste stations, I think we'd want to, if we were inclined to go with this service, I think we'd want them to manage it completely. There's no interest from the folks on Conservation Commission or Open Space about having this type of setup at Cato's Ridge or at Two Brooks.
Okay.
It's really, the only real demand for it is Harry Jason, but I think it might make sense to do it out back here too. So you'd be looking at, if it's 22 per station, bi-weekly, roughly $88 a month. And we would want it during like the warmer weather months. I feel like it's affordable.
We got a
If
lot
it
of
just-
kids running around here, certainly with baseball and everything.
Yeah,
so-
so I feel like it would make
How do you
sense.
talk to the rec department on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm sort of, yes, I think we should do it just because we've had issues and I think it makes sense. And
I think it's a reasonable solution. I would just put emphasis that Cato's Ridge and Two Brooks is not a place for this, very different terrain, and there's a certain wildness about those areas, or naturalness, that we'd like to continue, so vehemently opposed to that. I mean, even these two, you know, if people were responsible, the other way to do this, of course, is sort of this carry-in, carry-out idea that you bring anything in, you're going to bring it out with you, but I think we have enough sort of iconoclasts in town that maybe that isn't going to happen, and so we can give it a try. If it's helpful, great. If not, try something else.
So you're proposing a pilot program, basically?
A what?
A pilot program on this and just see how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, give it this season, this warm season, let's say 6 months.
For Holt Field and Harry James.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to make a motion?
Yeah, sure. So I make a motion. I make a motion that we give a try at this program, which would include a one-time cleaning for Holt Field and Harry Jason, and then bi-monthly waste station service at each of those places for the next 6 months.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I have one question. Is this the check thing on the outside, or there's still no dogs allowed on the inside of the field?
There's still no dogs allowed on
Yeah.
the inside.
Okay,
Yep.
just wanted to, great. And do you want me to call them?
Sure.
Good. Okay, next is appointments. So we have 2 appointments here. I would make a motion to appoint Dennis Dries as senior aide, May 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2025. And to appoint Michael Matt Turn, to Board of Registrars, May 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. I know Dennis has agreed to do the van, be the driver for the Council on Aging van, 2 days a week, which is, that's great.
He drove for E&B for a while.
No one second yet. no.
Okay.
So, you have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
No?
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. I'm glad we resolved the van that's been sitting there, and I think the state was getting a little antsy because they weren't seeing any
They took it
any
out.
mileage.
They took the van out today. They were taking some of the veterans to the USS Constitution.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, they were gonna go tour that, and I think they were going to lunch.
Big van?
Yeah.
Okay, next agenda item is town
Yes.
meeting preparation. Liz, you want to lead us through
Sure.
this?
I got the warrants back from the printer this morning, so Bree has them now and is working on getting them bundled and ready to be mailed out. I sent around the final motions for the annual and special town meeting. Those were vetted by town council, and for the article regarding the debt exclusion, bond council also reviewed that.
Good.
A couple changes this year. Town council noted that things coming from a special purpose stabilization fund, so like capital, for example, apparently no longer require a 2/3 vote. I will get something from him on that, because I feel like people are gonna have questions about that.
Yes.
And then same thing on the 2 zoning-related articles. Those in the past were always a 2/3 majority. So I just want to find out why those are now simple majority. But those are on there. Barry is all set as far as having received everything. Lisa and I are working on a list of holds for, like, say, for example, when we have to transfer from ambulance fund to fire and EMS salaries, the things like that. So we're working on that. Barry and I have been in touch with the folks at Dennett just about the room setup and everything to make sure we're all on the same page and it's the setup that Barry wants. So that's all going smoothly.
Area 58's on top of it.
They were involved in that communication, but we'll go back over it and make sure. So everything, I think, was all set from that perspective. And for the zoning article relative to the MBTA rural adjacent community requirements, we do have 2 maps on file with the town clerk's office, and they're online as well on the website. And it just shows the little area on 106 where this residential overlay is slated to go.
If I went onto the website, how would it be labeled so I could see it?
So it's under the planning board portion of the website.
Okay.
And Tara also put it under the town meeting. She has it on the drop-down menu on the left.
Okay, great.
And the only other point on that is, I think I mentioned at a prior meeting, we received a sizable grant from Community Compact for the e-permitting software. That grant is contingent on the town being in compliance with the MBTA. And I think it's kind of like the first thing that we've actually seen as far as them requiring compliance,
I know the
so.
police one that we just got, I believe, is the same.
Yep, yep.
So it would be helpful if we had a little list of those. I think we have to make people aware of just how much money this could be. We could be
Right, and I think
giving
that's
up.
only the start of
And
it.
that's correct. Yeah.
So that's that. Tara has everything up on the website. And we can figure out too if there's anything that we need handouts for, if it makes it easier for people.
So this has been printed now, in effect.
Yes, everything's out there. Tara posted it, and
I'd just like to comment on the use of the capital stabilization funds. When we formed that capital stabilization, it's when the Cisco money was coming in, we were fastidious in doing what we could to arrange that it wasn't just all spent, that 1/3 of it was going to go into capital stabilization. And the key on that is the selectmen at the time, I believe it was all three of us, it was certainly John Henry and I, felt very strongly that it should be a 2/3 vote, just to protect and avoid mischief along the way. I'm quite startled that apparently the state has said, no, it only needs to be a simple majority. If that's the case, fine. I hope this select board or selectmen or board of selectmen and future board of selectmen will remember the intent, that we didn't want that money spent frivolously, and which was the point of the 2/3 vote.
I think it was a very wise idea. It certainly helped us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that $25,000 and under, the selectmen
Right,
can do.
exactly.
Yeah. With approval of the finance committee, I believe, too.
I
Anyways, we can check
think
that.
it might have been
Yeah.
just us on that one.
Okay. Special town meeting, any issues there?
No, the final article on the special town meeting warrant is still kind of a placeholder article. If the school department needs any transfers, John Williamson and Jason Frazier will know what to do, and they'll have to craft the remainder of the motion as far as what lines they want to transfer from, but we're not quite there yet.
This feels good, like we're on top, and that's great. Now we'll just see how the residents feel. Try to be interesting, this one. Okay, so where am
Warrants paid.
I? Warrants paid. Bree?
$11,714.58.
Okay. Town administration updates.
So we've mainly been busy with all of the town meeting preparations and getting everything to print and out the door. We also have a use of town property request. This is from the Plympton Garden Club for May 17th with a rain date of May 18th, and it's for their annual plant sale and annual bake sale. So they're looking for approval on that, and then it'll be circulated to the other departments.
Great. It's great that they do this every year on election day.
So, motion to approve pending authorization from the other town bodies.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're there.
And Bree was also working with our insurance company, with Maya, and she was able to secure for us, at this point in time, there might be more to come, but $4,572 in participation credits. She informed them about some different training opportunities that our police department and fire department have taken place, and some different things like that, and Bree was able to work with them and get us
What was the amount again?
$4,572 in savings, and there's potentially more to come, so she did a good job working with them
Thank you,
on
Bree.
that.
Trying for more, I was trying to double dip a little bit. They said we maxed out.
Any correspondence, Liz?
That was it.
That's it, okay. So we have the minutes of March 25th and April 14th. Any,
I had one addition, and sorry, I didn't get a look at these until just a few minutes ago, but on the April 14th, the discussion about the Comcast renewal license, I think we should add a sentence that says something like, in this case, it'd be me, Mark Russo, requested any comments for or against the license renewal, just so that that sentence is in
Yes,
there
legal,
that,
yep.
in fact, we offered a
Why don't you write
discussion.
it in so we can read it?
I'll write it in and pass it on down to,
Sure.
got it?
Do you want to
Okay.
email it or just write it on there?
I'll email you later today. Thank you.
Any other? No. Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of April 14th as amended.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
March 25th. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me. Just quickly glanced at them.
I'm good.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of March 25th, 2025, instead of 24, that's the one. So with that amendment, as written.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I would just like to invite everybody, Memorial Day is coming up. I'll be having a meeting with fire and police, highway, and the library. But I did just want to encourage people, we did post something, to invite them to join us. It's a great day, it's a big day in town,
It is a big day.
so
Mm-hmm.
we would like trucks and tractors. We don't have a band, so it's always good. Any sort of old vehicles that want to join us, just please contact me. My email's on the website, or give me a call.
Excellent. Thank you, Bree.
Okay. So we're at Board of Selectmen's raves. Do you have a rave?
Sure. So my rave is for this time of year, when the town meeting warrant has been sent off to the printer, was done, particularly for Liz, that's months of work getting the budget put together, but it's sort of a little bit of lull between now and then ready to do battle at town meeting.
Yeah. That's good.
Very good.
So I have a rave for the people who put together the trash cleanup in town. Vicki and Dave Alberti, who have always been leader, Alan Wheelock, Stephanie Karan, and Gabby Falconeri. And a rave for all the people who went out and picked it up. It wasn't a great day, but it was, at least it wasn't pouring.
Yeah.
That was good. It looked like we did fairly good in terms of the bags that I saw around town.
Yeah, I think my guys generated like 3, or picked up 3 heaping dump truckloads. On my truck, I had it stacked to the roof, it was all on the, it was full.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah,
Roads look better, and
yeah, it looks much better when they do that.
hopefully, we skipped a year last year, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can make sure
Get
that
back on
does
there,
stay
yeah.
annual.
Well, it looks good when they do that, when we come down and mow, there's not trash everywhere.
Okay, dates to remember. We have our regular open meeting on town meeting at 6:30. We do that every year prior to the 7 o'clock meeting starting up. And then we have next meeting, May 19th at 2 PM here. So, there being no other business, I'll make a motion that we close the Board of Selectmen meeting for May 1st, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Cool.
Thanks for your help.